Today we're going to continue with 12 common mistakes in handling Revit 5. So this is some of the I might go more than 12 whenever we talk about the common mistakes that in handling 5. There is a lot of them. So I just try to simplify them compared to what I have always gotten from my training or stuff, and also from the common industry that have been done that is wrong. So we're going to get started from here. If you have any your colleague would like to join us for today's session, just let them know, and then we can get started. For now, I'm just going to share the screen so that we can see here. All right, so for the first one that we're going to see is that with the window selection. So lots of the people are using the window selection where we have more than option than compared to select all or using the filter. We have, if we want to disable the link selection, if you want to have all the pin elements are not being selected or underlaid, we can do that. So I'm going to go here to the Revit here. Okay, so usually what people do is that you just know either you can go to the right or to the left to selecting the element. Below here, you have more options on using these for turn off if you don't want to select the things that by the elements or by face, meaning that here, if I turn off this one, if I want to select any the floor here, I have to go to the very end, and then I have to use my tab, and I can see that the floor are being selected. That floor is being selected. But if I turn on this select by face, so I can just go over here and then select them. So this is one of them, the issue with the select all elements by face. So sometimes when you have a trouble selecting the element, that's probably because you turn this one off. So if you turn this one off, you can only select the element by the edge, and sometimes because there's a lot of things at the edge here, so we have to use the tab one time, again and again. And then you can also track over here. Let me quickly. Okay, so you can also track over here to this, whatever that you are using the tab to select, it will show here whenever you click on the one-time tab, it will change over here the material that I selected. So if I go again over here, and then I click on the tab one time, you can see that now I'm selecting the change of the wall. I tap again, then it curtain wall, and it also show up that information over here. So you just want to keep track whatever you are selecting is actually shown there. You can, so that you can ensure that you are selecting the correct element. And then the second one is that if let's say that I link to specific DLBG file, so then if I go here, insert, and then I click on the link CAD file here. If I have any CAD W file here, and then what I can do, if let's say that I just want them to be underlay, I can pin them up, and then if let's say that I don't want to select them, because whenever we're tracing them, sometimes it's also snapping to the point inside your CAD file. So what you can do over here is that you can actually turn off that selecting the pin element or select the link. You can turn off either two of these are useful. I can turn off the select pink, so I will not be selecting that pink element, link element. Also, if I turn them back on, I can easily select them. So this is all the very useful, aside from using select all, and then you can filter them out over here, and then choose whatever that you needed to use. This is a very basic one, but aside from that, we can also pin any element that we don't want them to be included within our selection by using this, and also turn off for the underlay elements, and then you have also here for select element just now. All right, so that is the first one for selection. The second one I'm going to show is that we have this confusion in between using the import CAD or link the CAD file. So import CAD is actually pretty much not advisable because it can slow down your performance. It's always better to use link CAD. First, because if you are using the link CAD, you can always you can always refresh back for the changes. You can always update for the latest version of your file, CAD file. You don't have to import again and then delete them whenever there is any changes that are created. And then also, if you are using the link CAD, the people who are we can't actually disallow for the user to not be able to exploit the CAD file, because exploiting the CAD file is not advisable at all inside the Revit. So I'm going to go here to back to the Revit here. So I have this using the link CAD just now. And then if I go again to insert and then click on the import CAD, I'm just going to select import the same element here. And I just click on open that. I'm going to move one of them over here. So I have one of them is, let me just change the name here. Not that one. Let me just import another one, CAD file with a different name so that you can see the difference between those two. Okay, welcome to those who just joined us. If you have any questions, just feel free to let me know in the chat box. Right, so that is another one using the import CAD, and then we have two files here. So one I use the link CAD, and another one I have the import CAD here. So when I click on go to the manage link here, under the manage link, under the CAD format, I only see one of the file that I have linked. So this is where if there is any changes later created, this PWG file inside the software, you can always reload them back, and then you can refresh back to the changes. So if I have this import CAD just now with great layout here, the naming tag, I have, if there is any changes, I just have to delete again, and I have to insert again using that, load the CAD file again, and then that will actually that actually take up a lot of time. Okay, and also over here, I'm going to share with you is that exploiting the CAD file is very not advisable. So if I click on this file, okay, you see that for the link file, CAD file, we cannot exploit them. For the one that I have imported just now, I can click on exploit them. I have full partial exploit, I have the full exploit. This is fine if I have a very small project, but you see that it takes a lot of time, there's a lot of the warning, and then at the end of the day, it can cause this a lot of the issue on your Revit performance, because it's too big with all those line style, with all those line pattern that have to be stored inside the Revit. So never use that exploiting the CAD file. Instead of, if there is anything that you want to change this inside this, if you want to hide any line inside this PWG file, what you can do is that if you click on visibility graphic here, edit, and then I can always go to the imported category. I can expand them, and I can take off any layer that I don't want to use. So this allow you to actually better on managing your CAD file here. And then the next one, what I want to do, I'm going to share with you about using the import and link with the current view only versus all. So we just go back to the Revit here. I'm going to move this around. Okay. So if let's say now what I want to do is that I want to link to my CV3D drawing with the topo surface so that I can create my topo surface from that CV drawing site elevation. So if I click on the link CAD, and then let me go find that file site contour here, and you can see that over here we have either the option to actually use the current view only. You also have the option over here to position wherever that you want them to actually be positioned. So if I click on the current view only, it will only position at this level 1. So I'm going to click on open. And then you can see that the file is here. If I go to level 2, I cannot find them. If I go to this site, there is that file is also not available to be viewed. So there's no PWG file that have been imported, that contour line. And then when I want to create that contour line, if I go to meshing and site, topo surface, and I click from import from select import instances. you see that I cannot select this file. Even if I go to the other view, because they are not loaded in any view here, I cannot create them. One of the reasons is that when you just use the current view, it stays as the underlay. So it's just for reference as your background, instead of using that. It doesn't include with all those site elevation data. So what we want to do is that if, let me go back here. Sorry, so I have, I'm going to change to the site here. So if I go back to insert and I go back to the link cat, I use this site contour and I turn off this current view only. I can place them anywhere. So I'm just going to place at the level 1 here. I'm going to click on open tab. Right. So this is if you see that the warning not view, always check on the parameters, visibility graphic, and also view range. That's always causes that. One of the reason here is my view range. If I go to add it, I'm just going to unlimited them, because this is the site contour is above the sea level by the very height of elevation. That so closes that, so I can see them now. Okay, I just want to show that if I go to my north, is that so the site elevation is appear as an object instead of just underlay on the specific plan. So if I want to create the topo surface again, if I go to my messing and site and I go to the topo surface and I create from import, select import instances again, I can select that file. Even if from the site, from the plan here, I can select them, and then this will appear where we want to create that topo surface, the layer that we want to create them. So you can just turn off for the 0, and then for the major and minor, and then just click on OK. That will appear all those topo surface. So this is what you want to take a note on when you are creating from the data from DWG file. If you want to use them, make sure that you use for turn off the current view only, and then use for the whole view and position them accordingly. That is number 4. Number 5 is that never nest the group within the group, because whenever you use the group in order for you to actually grouping all those elements, you are actually making it more complex inside your Revit. The performance is very, it will actually reduce the performance of the Revit, and then it also will causes the corruption for the existing family that you have. So means that here, if I go back to my Revit, I'm just going to go slightly back, go back to the level 1 here. All right, so I have this table dining with these all dining chair and everything, the families here. So, never use the nested group, means that you create one group for all the chairs, for all the seating, and then you create another group for together with this table. Okay, so you don't want to do that, this kind of nested groups. Instead of what we always do is that we always advise for people to actually go for nested family. That is a lot much more better. So means that here I can go create the edit family. I can, inside this family, I can always, I can create a new families, or I can also directly from here, just if I want to insert my nested tables, I can just insert and then load the family. I can edit that types of the table that I want to use. For instance, here. Let me check if I have. Okay, so I have loaded them. I can just go place them here. For instance, if I want that, and I can always load that into the project. So that is much more better for you to actually use the nested family compared to use using the nested group. Nested group will cause us a lot of the complex, a lot of the reduce the performance of your Revit by the end of the day. All right, so that is the 5th one. The second one is that the 6th one is that never let warnings accumulate. So a lot of the warning by the end of the day can also make your Revit file corrupt. So if I go back to the Revit, if you want to check all your warnings inside your Revit, you want to check the half of your Revit file. So go to the manage on the top, and then you can find the warning there. So if you click that, you will see whatever warning that have been created there. And then you can always click on that if you want to check that, and then delete that one if there is any overlapping. You can also see have all the overlapping here. Okay, so I can also see that if, let's say that these kind of elements, even the one that is not overlap, but we don't want them because it might be not appropriate inside the drawing for the design and everything, we can always check them and then delete them. That is the first one. Either, or I can also open the relatable view, let's say that over here, and I can click on show where it is. All right, so that is the wall that is overlapped, so I can make changes accordingly according to them. And also here, because this warning, because if you want to make ease for you to actually review this warning easily from your tips of your finger, so you can assign a shortcut for this warning. So to assign a shortcut for all the tools inside here, you can go to the file, and you can go to the options, and then you can go to user interface, and I can find under the keyboard shortcut here. So I can click on customize, and just now I want to have for the warnings. Right, so I can click on that to assign them, and then can click for instance, it will be RW. We click on, oh, there's already one, so I'm just going to go for RWA, assign them. Okay, so you can always have multiple assignment shortcut, more than one, if you needed them. So if, let's say that I want to also RWS assign that, so if I don't want them, I can just remove them. So this will be a lot much better if you want to actually access those warning or any tools inside the Revit on by the tip of your finger. So I'm just going to click on OK here. All right, so always check on your warning over here. All right, let me go for number 7. Number 7 is, and also number 8 is, the solution is similar. So I'm just going to discuss about number 7 and 8 here, and then show the solution for that one. First, don't overuse the level. So we have seen people actually adding the level for the ceiling, for the top of counters, stair landing, in order for them to actually easily draw them, because maybe they want to see at a specific elevation of the elevation. You want to see that plan at the elevation, but don't do that. And because if you do that, you can actually you have that family, you can host it to that elements, and you might accidentally causes a lot of the issue by using that overlapping levels. So always use level for the main slabs and roof only. So that is a tip to actually manage your file. So it's much better. But over here, let me share first another one. And also don't use the view range freely, meaning that just now, if you see that over here, if I don't see any element that I want to see, I can go to view range and then edit them. But again, that might cause us the issue also, because you might actually, for instance, if I go for unlimited here, I might actually touch elements that on level 2. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep whatever I'm keeping on the level 1 is on the level 1, and then on level 2 and then level 2. So what you can do instead of is that for both of these, you want to see a certain elevation on your plan, but you don't have to actually use the level, or you don't have to use the view range directly. So you can actually create the plan region, and then you adjust the view range for that plan region. Meaning that over here, if I go back to this floor one, so I can go to my architecture back. So I can go to, I can go to view, I can go to the plan view, I can go to the plan region. So if I click on this, I can crop where I actually want to adjust that view range. So if let's say that I'm going to adjust for something about around here, and I click on the finish on that, I can see that over here I have, just zoom in, the view range that I can adjust for this one area only. So if I click on that view range, currently is at this point, so I can actually adjust them. Let's say that I want to have about 220 apply that. You can see that some of them changes that. And then let me just show you if I adjust this boundary. So I'm going to, you can see that it changes again. It means that this is appear only on the elements that you actually want to adjust that view range. So you always can go to the default view range by deleting this plan region. So this is useful for you to actually using this if you want to see at the different elevation on your plan. Correct. So numbers 9 is that about moving the elevation tag and plant. So if I go back to the Revit here, and then this is the elevation plan. I'm going to open my elevation side by side here so that you can see what happened is that. So I have this north elevation together with my elevation tag. If I click on this elevation together with this, if I click select all of it and then I move them, we'll see that this is also the view also moving. Sometimes, yes, people do want to change that elevation view, but sometimes what they intend is actually they just want to move the symbol because it might be a bit messy here. So you just want to move that symbol. So what you have to do is that you just have to select at the circle. I can move them anywhere. The new position that I want them to be. Let me just go again and move. Let's say that I move that, you can see that the view are staying. So I don't have to, you don't have to move the eye at the view here, the eye, this eye, you're just keeping that eye and then you just move the circle if you just want to move the symbol, not the view. All right, so that is for number 9, right, about moving this elevation tag on the plan. Right, I'm going to go for number 10, about overlapping the instances. This always happened during my training. Some of the training, they always created the overlap instances. Whenever you are drawing, for instance, if I use the grid line here, I can have selection for the pick line, meaning that here, if I use this pick line, I can select from the element inside this, any elements inside that. So they always, for instance, they want halfback and then they want to actually make some changes. They want to actually change some of things there, but they forgot that they are inside the modified place grid now. If you want to make changes, always go to escape twice on your keyboard first so that you go back to the home before you can make changes, so that you're not actually overlapping, you're not actually creating something, the same instances with your click. All right, so that is for overlapping instance. And also if you see this kind of element, none of the created element are visible. Just now when you see I do some of the drawing, I might have encountered that. For instance, if I create the structure, let me go for something like if I create the structure element here. Oh, let me see if I can attach any kind of the element aside from. All right, down. But let me just go to creating the wall here with the something placed on the bedroom level 2 until the roof line. I click on apply and I'm going to create, and you can see that issue. So this issue, always check on the visibility graphic view range, and also if you have the plan region and so on, it's actually have been created. So that's why I always prefer to actually have side by side between my 3D and also my plan, whatever I'm drawing, so that it's easier to actually track if I have created them or not. So that is for ensuring that you don't create in the multiple instances of the same family where you are not intended them to have. The 11th one is about the sheet duplication. So I see that people actually creating the sheet duplicate without knowing what they are actually meaning. For the 3 types here, they just click on the duplicate and duplicate. So this is where I want to show you. If I go back to the Revit, if I click on the duplicate here, I have the 3 types of the duplication here. So duplicate, I first duplicate that so that you can see the differences between all of them. I click again and I duplicate view with the detailing here. I'm going to side by side here. And another one is that duplicate as a dependent. All right, so for all these 3, they have a different function. So duplicate here, this is the duplicate only. So for this duplicate only, what it does is that it duplicates your plan, but not the details item, not the annotation, any annotations, any kind of, let me show you here, if I go to back duplicate here, any kind of annotation, dimension, you see that it will not be duplicating the room, naming that, it doesn't duplicate as well. This is more if you want to use the plan without the annotation, without all those symbols. So maybe just for the workspace for your drawing, so you can do that. Another one is that we have done a duplicate with detailing, so it will duplicate together with all those detailing, all those annotations, symbols and everything. But if I go this level 1 detailing, you can see that it's similar to my level 1 here. But what it does is that over here, compared to here, level 1 as a dependent, duplicate as a dependent, and also detailing will appear as the same, only that the function. Meaning here for the detailing, if I make any changes, for instance, if I delete this outdoor dining, you can see that on my original plan is this, including if I added anything on this plan, for instance, this is kitchen dining too. Let me just go back here. That's the naming. This is the annotation only. So the room will always show, but for the annotation and the symbol and so on, it will not be shown there. We have this one. You can see that on 46 here, I deleted them, but on my whatever I created here, it will not be deleted. So it doesn't reflect to each other between this original and duplicate with the detailing. But the one that we use as a dependent, if you go back here on my plan here where I have deleted the 46, you can see also it is disappear. So as a dependent over here, it reflects and then link to each other. So that is for duplicating the sheet. The last one that we want to talk is that actually about the view setting. We have seen a lot of the people that actually use, if I go back, they have used the floor. You can use the view template here to actually govern all your plan with one view. So you can use the template file, and then you can actually make any changes from here. You can hide any elements with one, or for all the plan. Let's say that I want to hide all the wall on level, all the levels. I can always go and edit them. I can uncheck them, and I also can go for edit hiding them here. And hide any elements that I don't want, just for the sake, because I want to ensure that I can see them when I draw them. I want to see the certain elements clearly, so I hide some of the element, but that actually not a very optimized workflow. So instead of, what you can do is that you can use these temporary view properties. If I click on this, I enable this view properties template. I can make any changes to this, but that will be only temporarily. So when I go back and then restore the view temple here, it will go back to wherever I want to have them. So if I click on this properties type, okay, so I can specify on my VG whatever I want to hide. Again, the same workflow. Is just that it much more better to use this if you're actually using the workspace to hide the element for designing. So it's better to actually just hide from the temporary apply template properties, and then you can enable them, and then you can go back, restore to original one if you want to have the original one. And then you can also have multiple template file, meaning that here, if I click on the temporary apply template properties, I can apply a new one. So let's say that this will be my design workspace. So I can assign that, and can I show, and I can also specify what kind of detailing or what kind of setting that I want to set up for that view. I want to ensure that any door or any kind of component are being with a specific pattern, maybe a solid fill, maybe with the color, and then the thickness for that lines. I want to specify them when I view, when I draw them inside the, when I see them inside my working spaces, I can do that. So that is much more better compared to you have to edit from your original plan. So that is pretty much everything for the 12 common mistakes that we have seen people do lots, and then we have discussed them on this session. If you have any questions, just feel free to let me know. I'm just going to recap quickly here for those who just joined us. What we have seen, the 12 common mistakes in handling Revit file, is that we have seen about the window selection, where you can have more options compared to selecting them and also filter them up. You can also see that we have discussed about importing the CAD file, and so the link CAD is always better to use the link CAD. Minimize the use of the import CAD. Don't export your CAD file. Instead, use the visibility setting for that CAD drawing. Yep, sure. And then you can also use tick on and a tick off the current view only, or use them for specific positioning if you want to link any CAD file. And then the next one, you don't want to nest the group. It's always better to use nested family compared to the nested groups, because it's nested group will cause us a lot of the corrupt to your Revit file. The next thing is that don't let the warning accumulate inside your Revit file. Always check your Revit model so that it's healthier. Don't overuse the level, or don't update the view range freely. Instead, what you want to use is that you want to use the view time region to change that elevation view on your plan. And then you don't want to move the elevation tag, the circle and triangle. If you don't want to move the view, you just have to move the circle if you don't want to see that view changes. About overlap instances, we have seen them. And then also I have shown about the sheet duplication. And last one, we have seen using the view setting by using the temporary view properties whenever you are actually modeling. So it's much more better workflow compared to if you edit directly the visibility graphic inside your drawing workspaces. That's pretty much for everything. So I'm going to share this slide and recording for this online session. Yes, I'm going to email together with the recorded letter inside your email. If you have RSVP, you will receive this. Otherwise, if you haven't RSVP but you still want to receive this email recording and also the slide, you can drop your emails inside the chat box. I'm going to also share here. If let's say that in the future you want to see back on this YouTube every online lesson, you can always go back to our channel. I'm going to go down on our website here on my channel, our YouTube channel. We have the recorded FOL inside this platform, so you can always go back and view them. And if you like them, just click on the thumbs up for that view. All right, I think that's pretty much for today. If there is no more question, I'm just going to stop here. Sorry for taking 3 minutes more than your time. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.